morning, everyone. I'm Samantha Croston.
I'm Matt Mulcahy. A doctor at Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital says its beds are full, but plans are in place to add more if needed. Doctors are bracing for yet another difficult fall and winter season, knowing cases of RSV, flu, and COVID are likely right around the corner. So-called tripledemic that stretched the CNY hospital system thin last year is already showing its face. Our Connor White is talking to doctors about what to expect this go-around. He joins us live just outside Upstate tonight. Connor?
Matt, Sam, one pediatrician here says that it's become part of their day-to-day at the hospital, looking to discharge as many patients as possible safely to free up space. They've told some doctors and nurses ahead of time looking to the winter that they're going to have to pull some long weeks and overtime shifts to be able to handle the respiratory cases. In the fall and early winter of 2022, Upstate was frequently at capacity, handling the so-called tripledemic of flu, COVID, and RSV. Doctors here expect RSV to be the primary problem once again, but so far they haven't confirmed many cases. There's also preventative measures that didn't exist last year, from vaccines to antibody shots for infants under 8 months old. Still, Dr. Jana Shaw at Golisano says that it's nearly a guarantee that they'll have to go to extreme lengths once again to handle this winter's caseloads.
We are prepared. We have extra beds. We have a labor pool, essentially, of staff that will get extra time for working on off hours. And we also have extra ICU beds that we can sort of come up with.
3 different pediatric experts that we spoke to today all recommended getting vaccinated. For RSV, there's only one available for people aged 60 years and older. But for influenza and COVID, there are more options, and there's early evidence that both of those vaccines are effective at preventing hospitalization.
We begin tonight with continuing coverage on retired police officers working in private Catholic schools. Good evening. I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Samantha Croston. We first brought you the Immaculate Conception School's request to the town of Manlius to approve the hiring of a security officer. The town supervisor initially rejected the idea, citing a decades-old opinion from the state attorney general's office that says towns can't enter into contracts with private entities. And now we're hearing from the nearby town of DeWitt, where the police chief says Holy Cross School is asking for security too, and there may be a way to get it done.
The I-Team's Mary Keeler continues her reporting on this issue tonight.
The town of DeWitt police chief confirms Holy Cross School came to his department this summer asking if they could help by hiring a security officer. We're learning more about what the Holy Cross School is asking leaders in the town of DeWitt to consider.
We are at a place in society right now, unfortunately, where what parents are asking for is more police officers to make sure their kids are safe in the schools. So if that's what our parents are asking for, and I believe there's a path to legally do that, then I think it's beholden upon me to at least look into that. DeWitt's police chief says right now there's no draft agreement or contract before the town board to approve this. I have individuals in mind that I believe want this position, and we would be able to fill this position, but it's not coming from the current staff. This would be a new hired position. Our town attorney and town board is looking into the laws and drafting a local law to allow us to create a peace officer position that then could potentially enter into a contract with a private school like Holy Cross. The Immaculate Conception School in Fayetteville is asking the town of Manlius to approve something similar, an armed officer for its campus. Town Supervisor John Deere telling me last week it's not legal to enter into a contract with a private entity, even a school. He says that's from a 1974 opinion from the Attorney General's office, but also says he understands why this type of security is important.
If that was a law that passed, we would sit down and draft a contract immediately.
Deere now tells me he's waiting for DeWitt to come out with their draft law before he reaches out to the Attorney General's office about their town moving forward. That after he said he'd reach out right after this past weekend's special election. Meantime, DeWitt's police chief says, yes, it's got to be legal, but this decades-old opinion could potentially be updated to work with today's society. My understanding upon reading those opinions is that this is possible. There are ways for private entities to enter into contracts with municipalities. That happens all the time. It doesn't make sense to simply look at a informal opinion from 1974 and say that it still applies to 2023.
I think it's a little deeper than that.
The DeWitt police chief telling me that there is no rush here, and certainly they'll take their time to make sure that what they're doing can be legal and if it can be possible. He says a public hearing on this will be on October 23rd.
It's been almost a month now since a portion of the Onondaga Lake Parkway was reduced to just one lane in both directions going under the bridge as part of the ongoing effort to prevent oversized vehicles from striking the bridge. Commuters aren't so sure if these solutions are working just yet. Good evening. I'm Matt Mulcahy. You're watching the CW6 News at 10. This photo is from just a few days ago, September 23rd, after the lane changes began. With just one lane open, a large bus had to make a U-turn. Beyond what appears to be a compromising position for a large vehicle to be in, we're asking neighbors if these changes are helping or hurting their daily commute. Would they like to see them continue? Our Morgan Scott is live in Liverpool near the bridge tonight. Morgan?
Matt, bridge strikes at Onondaga Lake Parkway have been an ongoing conversation in this community. And even with current efforts to help fix the issue, neighbors say there needs to be another solution. Beginning in late August, neighbors driving along Onondaga Lake Parkway have had to adjust to the new traffic conditions on the road. One lane of traffic on either side of the bridge.
It causes so much backup, especially like if you're going to the mall, you know what I mean? It's like it started actually like so far into the highway, like as soon as you get to the exit. So it caused like so much traffic and it's so inconvenient.
According to the Department of Transportation, thousands of cars cross under the bridge each day on Onondaga Lake Parkway. And even with the new changes, there is still a risk of more bridge strikes happening. In this picture from a neighbor, you can see a bus turns around before striking the Parkway Bridge on September 23rd, with just one lane open.
I was happy to see they're doing something about it. But my first thought was at rush hour, this has got to be a disaster. This is a 2-lane road. It's busy at rush hour. There's a lot of people coming and going, so I don't know how this has got to really lock people down at those busy times.
Knowing just how busy this area can be during certain hours of the day, he says this should only be a temporary solution.
I do think there's so many cones that anybody driving through there right now they probably think it's a construction zone and they're slowing down and more likely to see the signs. But as this is not a long-term solution, they've had all this time to come up with a long-term solution.
Sometimes you got to take the tough road to get things done. And I guess that's what this is. They're taking high roads, you know, and inconveniently inconveniencing others, but and it's not fair to everyone else, but hey, you know, what can we do?
As of now, the Department of Transportation has not given any notice about when 2-lane traffic will reopen. Now, other neighbors I spoke with are still questioning when other possible solutions to this bridge strike issue will be explored, such as installing a traffic light right before the Parkway Bridge.